Welcome to a top 10 video, and today we are looking into Medieval 2 Total Wars mods, the community's 10 favourite mods. Now I just want to make it very clear, this here is not my opinion. I sent out a survey with a selected 10 mods, and people ranked them. How were those mods decided? Well, a week before, I was asking people what their favourite mods were, and the 10 names that came up the most, I put into a list, and yeah, then people decided on it. So the ranking order is 100% based off the community's random opinion. Is this a perfect list to represent everyone's opinion? No, it is far from perfect, but I do believe it is the closest that we can actually get. So let's begin. 10th place, we have Call of Warhammer. I bet this mod would have actually come up much higher before Total War Warhammer released. But you know, since then it's kind of lost its unique touch. But still, I've heard a lot of good stuff about this mod, and I do think it definitely does deserve a place on this list. But clearly the community do rank it quite lowly, down at 10th place. That's not to say it's a bad mod though. Just because some are low does not mean they're bad. It just means that compared to the others, they are at the bottom, but still, to get 10th in the world is quite impressive. In 9th, we have Westeros Smart, which is of course set in the Game of Thrones universe. I've not played this mod, and I do believe it has a sub-mod connected to it called Song of Ice and Fire, which is popular, but apparently the Westeros mod is less popular, like not fully finished. Sadly, there were no, or very few calls for the Song of Ice and Fire or whatever it is, and the community suggestions were just for the original, but from what I hear, the sub-mod is much more loved than the original. In 8th, we have a very interesting mod, and the only one that I did not know does exist. English Civil War, which I think is quite an interesting mod. Only like two main factions, the Royalists and the Parliamentarians, and it creates a very interesting 1v1 campaign dynamic. Very in-depth focused map, with rock paper scissors style of combat between units. Overall, a very good mod, a very interesting one, but I don't think it's that well known. And I believe that's the main hitter for it. It's not, you know, it's not the big name mod, and that's why it ranks lowly. But overall, from what I've seen, it does look quite good. In 7th, we have Vulcan Present. Everyone is always demanding that I cover this mod. It is very popular with a lot of people, despite only getting on 7th. The mod is very Middle Eastern focused. You have the fall of Byzantium and a lot of Islamic powers around, yet the Mongols invade and they are a big power in this mod. Very difficult to deal with, very challenging. I've heard of it and I've covered it in AI only time lapses, but I've never actually got around to play it yet, but I do plan to. Overall, the community do seem to like it. Number 6, I ranked this one a little bit higher. I do like this one, despite it being a little bit goofy. Planet War. Planet War brings a load of ridiculous stuff and combines it with even more ridiculous stuff. You know, you have Shrek fighting Kung Fu Panda, you have Godzilla fighting the Romans, stuff like that. Very interesting custom battles, I do really like it, and it's quite good for videos as well. The mod does also come with a campaign, which I've heard some good stuff about, but apparently the campaign is not the most interesting. It's more for the custom battles that people play this mod. So yeah, Planet War, the ultimate ridiculous mod. Yeah, a lot of people do like it, and I definitely do enjoy coming round to it every now and again, but I don't think I'll ever do a campaign on it. Its ridiculousness does help it and gets it onto this list, but at the same time, it does limit it as well. It can't get so high because it is, you know, a ridiculous mod. But it's funny though, and the modders have done a brilliant job. Number 5. We have Europa Barber 2. Now, This is a very big mod, and this was very popular quite a few years back. Like, I remember when this was the Medieval 2 mod that everyone was talking about, competing with stainless steel. But yeah, over the years I've seen a lot less interest towards Europa Barber 2, and like the interest rate has gone down. It is a massive overhaul mod that brings Medieval 2 into the Roman era, which I think is brilliant. I do really enjoy it, but the campaign's a little too big, and for those who don't like to invest too much time into the campaigns, this may not be the mod for you. But if you do like big, long campaigns that are going to take a very, very long time, like months, maybe even a year, maybe a few years if you're doing a Let's Play series on it, like 250 episodes, which I believe Legend of Total War did. Yeah, if you're into that sort of stuff, then this is definitely the mod. Quick side note about the mod though, it only just made it onto this list. Like, it actually shouldn't have made it onto this list originally, because not enough community members voted it in. But, you know, I had a spare slot, so I just kind of like shoved it in there. So I did kind of cheat the mod into being on this list, but you know, it's gotten into 5th place. I think I did make the right decision there. For most of the time though, when this survey was up, for like the first 50 responses, it was down in like 10th or 9th. It's only in the last 100 responses where it's actually picked up a bit. Yeah, very weird mod. You either hate it or love it sort of thing. Number 4, we have the Elder Scrolls mod. Again, very popular, and I can understand why. The Elder Scrolls series has a lot of fans. Having a mod about it is sort of like guaranteed success. Of course, on top of that, the modders have done a lot of brilliant work with it, and yeah, not too much more to say about this. It's, you know, it's the Elder Scrolls universe. And if you're into that sort of stuff, then by all means download it and play it. The reason it probably didn't come as higher as the other ones, maybe because not everyone's played Elder Scrolls originally. Like, if you never played the original games, then why are you going to play a mod about them? So that does limit it a little bit. In 3rd place, we have Reforged, which is a Lord of the Rings based mod, which very heavily focuses on multiplayer and custom battles, unique settlements, balanced units, and a load of, I was about to call them historical battles then, but are they historical? Historical fantasy battles, yeah, we'll go with that. Siege of Minas Tirith, Siege of Helm's Deep, a load of interesting ones like that. Definitely very popular. And very popular with YouTubers as well, like Pixelated Apollo, who has covered this mod quite a bit. However, at the end of the day, even though they are now working on the campaign, it is very multiplayer focused, and I can see it being like that for a very long time. So if you like single player and campaigns, maybe this is not the mod for you, but if you're a multiplayer fan, this is the mod. The best multiplayer mod out there, by far. And now we get to the top 2, and these two just completely dominate the rest of the list. But I do want to make 2 honourable mentions first, just 2 very quickly. These ones were not suggested enough to be on the list, but I do believe they do deserve some spot. First of all, we have Retrofit mod. Very basic mod, it brings some Kingdom stuff into vanilla. Just some small features, some bug fixes, stuff like that. And of course it allows hot seats. And the next one is Vanilla Kingdoms, a mod made by Pike, which brings all Kingdoms factions into vanilla Medieval 2 Total War, with the settlements, with the units, and even some events as well. A very good mod, I do highly advise it. All of these should be linked down in the description as well, if you want to, you know, take a look for yourself. Vanilla Kingdoms, you know, you can play as Lithuania or the Teutonic Order. It's not historically accurate, to be clear then, not historical. Lithuania has the option to convert to Catholic. Byzantium gets Byzantine flamethrowers. Basic villages in Northern Europe get the Teutonic village design, you know, where it's like an actual, like, all built on a hill. Very interesting, very unique. So yeah, overall, brilliant mod, I do love it. But let's get back into the real list, the community's opinions. And in second place, Third Age, Divide and Conquer. Third Age deck is of course built originally off Third Age, but since then it's developed quite a bit, it's had many patches, it's now up to version 4.1 or something, and it doesn't feel like the original Third Age. It now at this point does feel like its own standalone thing, and you can even download it as its own standalone thing as well. It's no longer a sub-mod, which is why it even got on this list. Very brilliant mod. A lot of work has clearly gone into it, it's been very successful. It is the most successful Medieval 2 mod that is still getting updates. Yeah, Reforged is still getting updates as well, but I believe the rest of them are kind of done at this point. But yeah, Third Age, brilliant mod. I love Third Age, I love it. Of course, I don't think I've said this yet, set in the Lord of the Rings universe. During the War of the Ring. My only issue is the campaign for me is a little too big. I personally prefer smaller campaigns, but that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people do disagree. But anyway, let's get into first place. Number 1 on this list, and I believe it is quite obvious at this point. It is, of course, Stainless Steel 6.4. Which is sort of like Medieval 2 Total War, but it brings in a load more factions, a lot more historical accuracy, it's much bigger, much more challenging as well. It is just a bigger version of Medieval 2. Very fun to play as well, I definitely do have a fun time playing Stainless Steel. My only issue is the campaign, again, is a little too big, but that's just how I like my campaigns. I prefer them to be smaller. That's why I like Vanilla Kingdoms. Vanilla Kingdoms does the exact same thing, but it makes, you know, it's on the original vanilla map, which I prefer. But again, that's just my opinion, which we're not here for today. We're here just for the community, and this is how the community ranked them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. We've done it before for Rome Total War, and we will do it again for Rome 2, Shogun 2, Attila, the Warhammer series. You know, we'll try to cover as many videos as we can with this, as many titles as possible. Subscribe to get notified of more. If you ever want to take part in any of these votes, it all happens in the community section, which I believe you've got to, you know, ring the notification bell to get notified of those, I believe. But that's where all the votes happen anyway, if you're ever curious. Share this with anyone you think may be interested, but for now, I've been MELKOR. I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. Links in the description. Goodbye.